We all know that Elon Musk has his hand in a lot of very important and groundbreaking companies creating disruptive new technology like electric cars, spaceships, brain implants, and artificial intelligence. But it might just be his boring company that ends up becoming Elon's most important business in the future. Just look at the massive success of the company's newest innovation, a bottle of cologne that smells like burnt hair. Within days, the Boring Company was able to bring in $3 million of revenue by selling out of their 30,000 bottles of burnt hair, making it a certified collector's item that is already reselling for multiple times the original price on eBay. Needless to say, if a company can turn a bottle of disgusting smelling juice into a multi-million-dollar enterprise, then there are truly no limits to their future potential. Okay, that was obviously sarcasm. Don't worry, this is a serious video. Coming back down to reality, in all honesty, the Boring Company really does offer a near limitless potential for growth into the future. Everywhere on Earth, people need to travel. We all need to get from point A to point B, and we want to do that in the easiest, fastest, cheapest way possible. The Boring Company is an answer to a universal problem. That's pretty huge, and in the next couple of years, the Boring Company has the opportunity to hit the global stage and show the world what they are capable of. Maybe they flop, that's always a possibility, but what if they succeed? Let's talk about it. There was a very important report out of Las Vegas the other day involving the Boring Company that went largely unnoticed, but it really got us thinking in a big way. Most people are likely aware that Las Vegas has become ground zero for the Boring Company's underground loop system. Their first ever public transportation loop was dug underneath the Las Vegas Convention Center, and that tunnel network is currently expanding outwards from there, linking into a couple of nearby hotels before making its way down the Vegas Strip and connecting the entire city through a subterranean network that transports passengers in Tesla electric vehicles. Steve Hill, who is the president and CEO of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, recently talked about his goal to have the Boring Company's Vegas Loop operational when the city hosts the Super Bowl in 2024. It is an ambitious goal, but Hill told the Las Vegas Review-Journal, "I think it's still a possibility. We are working to try and make that happen." So, clearly, the Boring Company has the major players in the city of Vegas on their side, and they have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to showcase their product to the world. The fact that the Boring Company was able to launch their first loop at the Las Vegas Convention Center is either a spectacular stroke of good luck or some incredibly strong business dealing from the company, because the Boring system only succeeds truly if it is adopted on a large scale in locations all across North America and eventually the world. What better place for important people from all over the country and leaders from across the globe to experience the Boring Company than the Las Vegas Convention Center? It is second to none in terms of exposure. Thousands of people going home to wherever they came from and telling people they rode around in Elon Musk's underground tunnel, and it was pretty cool. Anyone in advertising can tell you that word of mouth holds the top value for getting the message out about a product. Then imagine throwing the Super Bowl on top of that. Steve Hill told the Review during his interview, quote, "There's no event that has the spotlight on it like the Super Bowl does. That means there's not going to be an event that brings more attention to Las Vegas. It is our biggest opportunity to show what we can do. And by association, the biggest opportunity for the Boring Company to show the world what they can do." Vegas City officials are expecting the 2024 Super Bowl to be one of the most financially successful weekends in Las Vegas history. And we know that Vegas has some serious history. The event is predicted to have over $500 million of economic impact and create thousands of jobs. The big game is being held at Allegiant Stadium, which of course is a set location for a future Boring Company loop station. If we look at the existing plan for the Vegas Loop, we can see that there is going to be a dual bore tunnel running underneath the stadium. That's twin tunnels running in parallel that allow for two-way transport. There should actually be two stations at Allegiant Stadium, one at the south end and one at the east side. Unfortunately, that stadium tunnel is all the way down at the far corner of the map. It's about as far away as you can get from the existing convention center loop. And the stadium tunnel needs to be linked up with a series of planned smaller loops that connect the dots along the Vegas Strip. So, the Boring Company has a lot of work to do to get this system to the point of being both functional and useful by February 2024. That's not a lot of time. The Boring Company president Steve Davis said earlier this year that he is hoping to have work under the Las Vegas Strip begin sometime in 2023. Following this, he expects about 5 to 10 new loop stations to go online within the first 6 months of construction, and then 15 to 20 stations to be added each year until the system reaches completion. So that is spectacularly fast progress if he turns out to be correct. But it still might not be fast enough to have something compelling up and running for the Super Bowl. Let's say that they start at Allegiant Stadium. That's 2 stations, and its closest connection point is Mandalay Bay, which also has 2 stations, and then it continues up to something called Luxor. I've never been to Vegas. Is it actually cool? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, that would be 5 stations, and it would get people from Mandalay Bay to the stadium and back again, and that would be at least some useful function. If they are able to get closer to 10 stations built in that first 6 months, then they might go as far as the Tropicana and the MGM Grand. And that would be a very solid and very useful connector for game day. And that would be huge. Companies spend millions to advertise their products at the Super Bowl because they know that it works. Imagine the value to the Boring Company of having their product front and center as an official transportation method. So this could be a game changer, but it can also be a massive disaster. Right now, it's too early to say which direction things are leaning, but we are going to want to keep a close eye on the progress. Also wanted to give a quick shout out to our amazing Discord community. Here is our question of the week, and this was our favorite answer. And here is the meme of the week winner. Join our Discord community to participate next week through the link in the description below. And of course, Las Vegas is not the only stage that the Boring Company is looking at to showcase their work. We know that they are itching to expand into Texas. Elon wants to build tunnels underneath his Gigafactory in Austin and eventually connect the factory and the nearby airport into the city's downtown. Elon's master plan for the Boring Company in Texas is to link up the cities of Austin and San Antonio with one giant loop network. Elon has even gone as far as to propose this Austin to San Antonio corridor as the first test of his Hyperloop transit system, a high-speed underground train that moves at nearly the speed of sound. He's got a lot of support in Austin, but winning over San Antonio has proven to be hit and miss. They have a major hit with the Alamo Regional Mobility Authority, or RMA, after the Boring Company submitted their proposal for a San Antonio airport tunnel. The RMA board came out largely in favor of the project that the Boring Company suggested will generate $25 million per year in fare revenue. The Boring Company also offered to pay between $27 and $45 million out of their own pockets to cover the cost of building the tunnel, which would run 7.6 miles along Highway 281 and connect the airport into the city center. Unfortunately, the mayor of San Antonio was not as excited about the idea. He told a local news outlet, "We need multimodal connectivity. I don't see where a tunnel project fits into that. I don't know what it accomplishes." End quote. But the Boring Company is not done trying to change his mind. In late September, they came back with an update to their proposal, adding another $15 million of financial support to get the project underway. And the RMA board is starting to suggest that this is an offer the city can't refuse. Michael Lynn Jr., a chair of the Alamo RMA, told the media, That's a lot of money that's not coming from taxpayers to improve community transportation. I don't see anybody else coming and giving us $50 million, and that's not funding by taxpayers in some way, shape, or form. And that sentiment was supported by the RMA board treasurer, David Starr, who said, if the Boring Company is willing to put the money into a project to prove out the project and expose themselves for $50 to $60 million, that should be some credibility. We know that at least 3 out of those $15 million was funded by sales of burnt hair cologne, and at least some of their Las Vegas venture was paid for by selling flamethrowers on the internet. So this company is obviously a model of credibility. What I think this proves, though, is that the Boring Company is ready to go. They are going to do whatever it takes to get boring machines in the ground and start digging new tunnels in new locations. Like Treasurer Bud said, they are exposing themselves to tens of millions of dollars in risk with these proposals. No sane business person would do that unless they expected a very high likelihood of turning that into a massive reward. It is very high stakes. But let's imagine if the Vegas loop works and it becomes an internationally known feature of one of the most famous cities on the planet Earth. If the Boring Company can build new loops under Austin, the hottest, fastest growing city in America, a place that's being seen as the new San Francisco, as a superior alternative to New York City, if they can make a good impression in a city like that, if they can win over San Antonio and actually build a Hyperloop connection with vacuum tubes moving passenger trains at 600 miles per hour between the two cities, that's going to be pretty friggin' nuts. And now every major city on the planet becomes a new opportunity for the Boring Company to roll in and do the same thing. It would be a lifetime's worth of development and construction, maybe multiple lifetimes. And it does sound far-fetched, for sure, but it's more feasible than some of Elon's other grand ideas, like building a giant million-person city on Mars. So in terms of real-world potential for growth well into the future, the Boring Company might take the top spot in the Muskverse. But as always, what do you think? Does the Boring Company take over the world, or is it doomed to be nothing more than just another Las Vegas novelty? Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up today if you liked it. That is so important for getting our content out to more people. If you enjoy the content, then you'd probably also enjoy our weekly newsletter, so sign up with the link down below at theteslaspace.com. A huge thank you to all of our Patreon supporters who are listed on the screen now. You help us make the best content we can, and we really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next